Welcome back, everyone. Let's go ahead and do a quick little comparison between the OnePlus 9 and the iPhone XS. Another random comparison, but a lot of you guys like the OnePlus 8 versus iPhone XS. So let's go and do this device. Now, if you want to pick up either one of these, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can definitely tell the OnePlus 9 is the bigger phone in pretty much every single dimension. The iPhone XS has that 5.8-inch OLED display on it, whatever they called it at the time, and it's actually a pretty decent panel. This resolution on this phone is actually higher than the OnePlus 9. You still have a notch. It's definitely not like the craziest best panel compared to other phones that have come out, but I think it's a pretty good panel for sure. The OnePlus 9, on the other hand, does have that 6.55-inch fluid AMOLED display, and it's a 1080p panel, but it has that 120 Hz refresh rate, which really adds a lot more character to the overall device. I've said this time and time again, and it really is one of my favorite things about this phone. But you also have that hole punch display as well. And like I mentioned before, that is one of my favorite things about this phone. Having that type of capability is really cool, and it definitely future-proofs this phone. The iPhone XS, I think, is still good because the iPhone 12s have the same capability, but keep that in mind. That is definitely something to keep in mind for sure. In terms of thinness and thickness, you can see, I think the iPhone XS feels a little bit thicker, which is kind of strange. And on the back, glass back on the iPhone XS, I do have a skin on this device, and a glass back on the OnePlus 9 as well. Wireless charging on both, and dual camera setup on the XS, triple camera setup on the OnePlus 9, and that really pretty much covers it up for the most part. One thing I do like about the OnePlus 9 is that, it's a big phone. I really do like that. But the iPhone XS is more consistent. All these models of the iPhone XS has IP certification. Apparently only the T-Mobile version has IP certification here. I think other than that, they're both roughly the same. They feel about the same, but the OnePlus 9 is a much bigger phone for sure. Now, one of the bigger differences for these phones 100% is the software. You're getting stock software for the most part on both. The OnePlus 9 is fairly stock. It has more features, but that's something I really do like about the OnePlus 9 is just the amount of capability that this phone has, more than stock Android in my opinion. The iPhone XS, I still think it's great. It's stock iOS. One thing I love about iOS is that all the phones get the first updates. So, if the iPhone, whatever the lowest supported iPhone and the highest supported iPhone, same day updates. OnePlus 9 is a little bit different. But one thing I will tell you about the OnePlus 9 is that for an Android device, this is like the iPhones for Androids. This device is beautiful. It's going to pretty much have future-proof updates for quite a few years. But even though the iPhone XS came out in 2019, I think the XS may actually outlast the OnePlus 9 in some areas. I don't think every single area is going to outbeat it, but that is definitely one thing to keep in mind. But the one area for sure the OnePlus 9 wins at is the battery size and the battery life. The iPhone XS has like a 2600 mAh battery, somewhere near there. The OnePlus 9 has a 4500 mAh battery. That is a massive size thing to keep in mind between both these devices. You're getting a much bigger battery size on the OnePlus 9, so this is by far one of my favorite things about this phone. I think the iPhone XS is great. I think the battery life on the XS wasn't that great, to be honest, but I think the OnePlus 9's battery life is definitely better, but the iPhone XS's software is definitely one of its biggest improvements for sure. So in terms of that pretty much covers up this area. One of the bigger differences between these phones, where the OnePlus 9 and the iPhone XS both kind of win at. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these devices. I can't even talk today. The iPhone XS has that Apple A12 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM. The OnePlus 9 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 chipset with 8 gigs of RAM on the base model and 12 gigs of RAM on the top tier model. This model has 8 gigs of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster one between both of these. Okay, now that we're back, all the apps are cleared out in the background as you guys can see. Now let's get into phone calls. 3, 2, 1. And you can see, I think, roughly about the same thing hopping out of this one. I don't know why I called 411. Let's do Play Store. 3, 2, 1. And OnePlus 9 breezing there, dude. That phone is extremely fast. For some reason on the Play Stores, Android phones are so much faster. Scrolling through, you can see, I think the OnePlus 9 is faster, and it does kind of smoothen out. I think the iPhone XS is more consistently smooth, as you guys can see. Hopping out of this app, let's go ahead and get into these third-party apps I always do. Let's go and do Fruit Ninja if I have it, and I do. 3, 2, 1. And there could be some software issues between both. Hopefully there is none of those, but it does look like the OnePlus 9 was faster getting to that panel, but the iPhone XS was on a different panel there. But both kind of loaded at the same time, which is very interesting. Hopping out of this app, let's go ahead and do Facebook. 3, 2, 1. And iPhone XS, I think, was the faster one there. Let's do Temple Run 2. 3, 2, 1. And you can see, I think the OnePlus 9 is for sure the faster one. That is without a doubt. The XS was not only took longer to load up, but it was glitching up too. That's another pretty massive thing to keep in mind. Now, in terms of the gameplay stuff, you'll pretty much see that I think we're getting roughly around the same gameplay. It's a pretty basic game, but it did glitch up a little bit more on the 10s, and it was faster on the 10s as well. Hopping out of this specific app, let's go ahead and do Instagram 3, 2, 1. You can see, I guess we're already loaded here. Rest in peace DMX if you guys didn't already see that. Snake versus Blocks 3, 2, 1. And you can see OnePlus 9 is faster, iPhone 10s a little bit behind. Getting into some gameplay. Let's see what's going on, and I think we're roughly going to be around the same. This is a pretty basic game, but still, the OnePlus 9 I think was faster. Hopping out of this app, let's do Bofa 3, 2, 1. OnePlus 9 was faster. iPhone 10s a little bit behind. Hopping out of this app, Dropbox 3, 2, 1. OnePlus 9 definitely was faster there. Quizlet 3, 2, 1. OnePlus 9 like instantaneous on that app. That was definitely crazy. Snapchat 3, 2, 1. OnePlus 9 again is faster. iPhone 10 is a bit behind. Twitter 3, 2, 1. And it crashed on the OnePlus 9. I don't know why that happened. Let's do Thank You 3, 2, 1. You can see OnePlus 9 was faster. iPhone 10s took quite a bit of time to get into it for sure, but it's still nothing super crazy. As you can see, getting around town, you can see both are going to be roughly around the same. But I think the OnePlus 9 definitely was faster there. Let's do Netflix 3, 2, 1. And the OnePlus 9 again was faster. So I think when it comes down to this specific comparison, the OnePlus 9 I think is definitely the most fast phone between these two. It's definitely faster. It seems like it has a lot more capability when it comes down to the speed. Quite possibly, maybe the OnePlus 9 is still right there. But I really do like the OnePlus 9 speed. It's like very, very fast. I think both have their pros and cons, but the OnePlus 9 definitely is faster. The iPhone 10s is a little bit behind, but still for a 2018 phone, it's still pretty good. So in terms of that, that pretty much covers it up there. Now let's go and hit on the cameras. Now the OnePlus 9 has that triple camera setup, wide, ultra wide, and a color filter camera. The iPhone 10s has that wide angle lens and that telephoto lens as well. Now I can definitely tell you with the iPhone 10s, you're getting a really decent camera for sure. You have 4K at 60 on the back, 1080p at 60 on the front. This is how I'll tell you, possibly the back camera on the OnePlus 9 is better. You can do 8K on that camera, but this camera is still pretty good. You have that telephoto lens, you can zoom in a lot. You don't have an ultra-wide sensor, but I still think that's totally okay. I think the camera lens is good. The apps that support this phone, in terms of the, like the Snapchats and Instagrams and stuff, are all supported for iPhone, so they look really good natively. You don't have to like import any photos if you don't want to, if you don't want to make them look better. These iPhones are extremely good. The 10s and the 10s Max, even the iPhone 10 are all have really good cameras for sure. But I will tell you, with something like a OnePlus 9, I think you're getting an overall better camera, at least on the back. But I do think the front camera on the OnePlus 9 is worse than the iPhone 10s. You're getting a 1080p at 30 here. We're getting 1080p at 60 on the iPhone 10s. So I think the iPhone 10s wins there. But I do like the ultra-wide sensor. The color filter camera doesn't really apply. I don't really care about it too much. But I do like that ultra-wide sensor more than the telephoto lens. And the fact that you can do 8K video on something like a OnePlus 9, I think is actually pretty good. I think overall photos look really good on the OnePlus 9 so far from everything that I've tested. So I think when it comes down to that standpoint, I think it's a solid camera. But I think if you're looking for an overall great camera, I think the OnePlus 9 is still a very good camera too. But I think the OnePlus 9 is probably the better one in terms of the back, but the iPhone 10s has the better front-facing camera. So in terms of the camera quality, that pretty much covers it up. Now to kind of sum up the video and to answer the question, should you go and buy an iPhone 10s or should you go and buy a OnePlus 9? Well, this is what I'll tell you. I think if you're trying to get the phone with the most amount of features, the OnePlus 9 is the better way to go. I've been saying this for the last couple of videos. The OnePlus 9 is more of a feature-packed phone compared to the iPhone 10s. However, if I have to pick up one of these, I would probably rather have an iPhone 10s. I feel like I just like the software of the iPhones for sure. I like the front camera quality of the iPhone 10s as well. And other than that, I mean, those are the main reasons why I like my iPhone 10s. If none of those things apply to you or appeal to you, then I think the OnePlus 9 may be the better way to go. I would probably upgrade from a 10s to a 9 if I wanted to, but I really wouldn't. I would probably stick with an iPhone 10s. It's cheaper, it's a little bit older, but the software is still great. You can use software updates for a very long time on something like an iPhone 10s, so you're not really feeling like you're being left out in any way for the most part. But I think the OnePlus 9 is more of a feature-packed flagship type of device. This device was faster than the iPhone 10s for sure. You're getting a better back camera. Software updates are still great on this phone too with that 120Hz refresh rate, which is awesome. Very big battery on the OnePlus 9. This device's battery life and size is going to be better than something like an iPhone 10s. So that's kind of like another massive thing to keep in mind. I think the iPhone 10s is still a great phone for sure. But if I have to pick up one of these, I think I would probably rather have something like a OnePlus 9 than an iPhone 10s in my opinion. But I think the iPhone 10s is like a very good phone still. And I think I would probably rather have an iPhone XS, to be honest. If they were both the same price, maybe the OnePlus 9, but the iPhone XS for it being cheaper, I'd probably have one of these over a OnePlus 9 in my opinion. So in terms of that, that pretty much covers it up. If you want to pick up either one of these, like I stated, links are down in the description. It means so much if you guys can get them from there. You can help support the channel at the same time. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed the video, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count. So it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.